Hello everyone, myself Chandru. So today I'm going to introduce basic information about K-means clustering. So let's get started. So let's understand what is meant by K-means clustering. K-means clustering is basically dividing the whole data set into different K clusters based on the properties and similarities of the unlabeled data points. So if K is equal to 2, it creates 2 clusters, or if it is K is equal to 3, it creates 3 clusters. It depends upon the users who specify the K values. And it is an unsupervised learning algorithm. That means it does not have any label data. So there will be no training set and test set for this algorithm. Next, it is also a centroid based algorithm. Each cluster is connected to a centroid while following the objective to minimize the sum of distances between the data points and their corresponding clusters. So it allows us to cluster the data into different groups, and a convenient way to discover the categories of groups in the unlabeled dataset on its own without the need of any training. So this is the picture. So this is the data points before k-means. So after applying this, we will get 5 cluster form. So the yellow represents each cluster centroid. So basically this is how k-means algorithm performs. So let's understand k-means algorithm. So basically it has 2 steps. First one, it determines the best value for k center points and centroids by an iterative process. Since it is iterative, it is specified by the user how much it should iterate. Second, it assigns each data point to its closest k center. So let's look on our working of k-means algorithm. First, we should select the number of clusters or k for data set. Second, we should randomly select k number centroids. Third, by using Euclidean distance, we should assign the points to nearest centroid. Fourth, once k clusters are done, we should find the original centroid in each cluster. And fifth step, again we have to reassign old data points based on new centroids. We should repeat the step 4 until unless we get the centroids continuously same. So then our algorithm stops. So let's have a glance on Euclidean distance. It is nothing but a distance between 2 points in a Euclidean space. So this is basically an Euclidean distance. Next, let us see what are the applications of k-means. First one, it let us see what is in academic performance. Basically, the scores collected from students are classified or clustered into A, B, C grades. Next, in diagnostic systems. So, medical profession uses k-means in creating smarter medical decisions support system. Next, in search engines. So basically clustering forms a backbone of search engines. When search is performed, the search results need to be grouped, and the search engines very often use clustering to do this. Next is wireless sensor networks. So the clustering algorithm plays the role of finding the cluster heads which collect all the data in its respective cluster. So let us consider an example. So these are our data points. Now we have to find the centroid and group and make 2 clusters. So first let us take k is equal to 2. Now from the data set given, we will choose any 2 data points as 2 centroid clusters, and we will calculate the distance between the points and the selected clusters. So this is our distance formula: x1 minus y1 the whole square plus x2 minus y2 the whole square under the square root. Using this formula, we will calculate the distance between the data point and the centroid, between the 2 centroids. So using this formula, if we calculate, we get the values as displayed here. So from the data point, which center is least distance between them will be assigned to that cluster. So first data point will be assigned to C1, and second will be C1, and third will be C2, and fourth we can see that the values are same. So in this case, the algorithm performs density measure. In which cluster there are low number of data points, the algorithm will cluster them to that group. So after performing this, we know that In first cluster we have 3 data points, in second cluster we have 3 data points. So we will calculate each, add up these data points, and we will divide by the number of data points. We will get the new centroids, that is 2 comma 1.3, and in same in second cluster we will get 3.6 comma 3.6. Now, after getting this result, we will again take them as a new centroids, and again using the distance formula, we will calculate the distance between the data point and the new centroids. After using the same distance formula, we will get the same results as we displayed. So, it's a basically we also find the least distance between the centroid and the data point. That cluster the data points will be assigned. So he can see your first point is assigned to C1, second point is C1, and third is C1, that is the cluster 1, and the remaining and all are clustered into the cluster 2. So next, what we done before, we also done here again. We have calculated the centroid. Since we get the same centroids in a continuous iteration, these are the two centroids, and into this centroids, the clusters are formed and all the data points are classified. So basically, this is a simple example in which we came to know how centroids are formed, how the data are grouped into one. So let us look at the advantages of K-means. First, it is relatively simple to implement and it scales to large data sets. So even though data set may be large, it has such capacity to explore all the data. Next, it guarantees convergence. Convergence is nothing but it will successfully cluster everything without any error. Next, can worm start the positions of centroid? Next, it can easily adapt to new example. If there is any change in data, it will automatically adapt to that new data. Next, let us look at the disadvantages. So, choosing K manually. Since we choosing the K manually, there may we get an error in we will cluster the data wrong. Second one is clustering data of varying sizes and density. Since if the data is more in size and the density of the data is more, there may be a mischance that it may be classified into wrong cluster. Third one is clustering outliers. The data points which are not in it bound may affect the clustering. Without including them, it may create a different cluster for them, which is unnecessary for us. Third one, scaling with number of dimensions. As the dimensions to a data point increases, the difficulty and complexity of clustering will also increase. So this is a basic introduction I given to K-means clustering. Hope you find this interesting. So thank you everyone. Happy learning.